screaming heavy metal! We rock!
But the evil that men do lives on.
We gonna bang your head!
You are now listening to the Music Mania podcast, a hard-hitting show featuring all things hard rock and heavy metal. And now here are your hosts, the Twins of Chaos, Clint Switzer and Paul Lagana.
Well, it's a huge pleasure to welcome rock legend Geoff Tate to the show this week. Geoff, welcome to the show, man. Hope everything's going great for you. Man, we've been listening to the new album, Operation Mindcrime's Resurrection, part 2 of a trilogy following The Key, which came out in 2015. Geoff, first off, I just want to get right into it. I mean, this obviously is a very intricate story. What's gone into you writing this story, and where do you see things going from here?
I just needed the subject matter, and that kind of changed in me a couple years ago when my wife and I were on the hiking trail that goes across northern Spain, the Santiago Trail, and it was a month-long hiking trip, and I wrote the whole story while I was on the hike. So it was a very inspirational time, and I was definitely inspired by surroundings, to come up with the story. And as soon as I got back to Seattle, I launched into composing music for it, and kind of recorded all 3 albums at the same time, basic tracks for all 3 albums at the same time, and so that was kind of an unusual thing. So, but in a way, it's very cool because all the same players are on each record.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. You got some big time players on this thing. I mean, from John Moyer, Simon Wright, Brian Tichy, all these guys playing on you, and I think Kelly Gray mixed this thing. That's awesome. I mean, this is never a bad thing to get that kind of a group of musicians on board with a project like this. Man, that's some really good players on this. Yeah,
and when you have really great players, most of the time you have really good ideas that come out of the sessions, And this was definitely that scenario where everybody was very much into it and throwing out ideas, giving incredible performances. So I'm very happy with the way the all 3 albums have turned out.
Well, it's I can't wait to hear the third part now, as I've just been kind of getting into the second one. And just, I mean, in 2014 is kind of when you came about of the project Operation Mindcrime. I mean, what... and of course, that's one of the great stories ever told in hard rock history as well. That as a concept album, just kind of what was the line of thinking and going back to 2014 as far as naming this project Operation Mindcrime? Because I believe I saw an interview before where you said, "I'm never going to be in a band again. This is, those days are over. Hey, palling around on the bus and all that stuff, that's kind of over. It's kind of this is your thing. So why Operation Mindcrime?"
Why the name?
Yeah, why the name?
Oh, because it's a very well-known name, very well-known, better known than my own name. So that's kind of the predicament I found myself in after, the split with Queensryche, was that, for 30-plus years, I had signed all my work Queensryche rather than under my own name. So, unfortunately, my own name wasn't as well-known as Queensryche or Operation Mindcrime, which was a very well-known Queensryche record. Double record, actually. So I thought, I'll use the name Operation Mindcrime because it's very well known, and secondly, it sort of paints a picture of where I want to go musically after Queensryche, and that is I want to keep going in the more progressive area of music, and I want to tell stories and write concept records. Mindcrime, Operation Mindcrime is a very well-known concept record, so it all kind of made sense, from that perspective.
Well, one of the great, hard rock albums of that era. And Geoff, I beg to differ on that. I think your name still stands up there with any in hard rock. I mean, you're on pretty much every top 5 list of hard rock vocalists of all time. I mean, I think that stands for itself, man. So that's, I mean, and when you go back to, I ask a lot of musicians this because I think it's important because what great vocalists especially don't realize about just people like me is I'm behind a microphone. I love music as much as anyone. I grew up watching it, probably, just like you did. But the difference is you had, you have the gift, you have that, this incredible voice, the talent. I mean, at what point in your life growing up did you realize, hey, I sound better than the other guys out here that try to sing some of these songs that we're listening to?
Well, I started composing and writing my own music really early on, when I was in high school. And it it just seemed like the way to go for me. It was my calling, you know. It's what it's the subject that I was most interested in. You know, music was always. I started out when I was 9, playing piano, and then I was in all the school orchestras and bands. So I grew up with it. You know, it's in my blood. It's what I guess I was trained to do at a very young age, and also where my head was at. You know, so it wasn't like there wasn't like a moment that, you know, it hit me out of the blue that gave me my direction in life. It was kind of something that I'd been on that path, you know, since I was a child, really.
Well, you know, you got this tour coming up, and I want to talk about maybe a possible Operation Mindcrime tour. But this tour with the Trinity tour you're doing with Blaze Bayley and Ripper Owens, they guest starred on one of the music videos for the Resurrection album, and so doing this tour with those guys, I mean, that's kind of a unique experience. I think that there's some dates in the Northeast. Go to GeoffTate.com, check them out. But how did this come about, and how cool is it going to be up there with those two guys?
Really, it was kind of a brainstorm. You know, we had such a great time playing together on the Resurrection album, and had a great time hanging out together. So, you know, it kind of just seemed like a natural thing to continue our fun, you know, out on the road. So we booked some dates at the end of November in the Northeast, and we're looking forward to getting out there and singing together again.
Absolutely, and then I assume that now that Resurrection was released on September 23rd, that maybe after that you would put together an Operation Mindcrime, tour for this album as well.
Yeah, I think the Operation Mindcrime album tour will happen sometime in the spring, I believe. I'm going out and doing an acoustic tour before that, though, starting in Europe in December. I'll be there December and January throughout Europe touring.
Geoff, you're always out there doing what you do, and that's what's great about this. And I know, you know, in your mind and in your opinion, the music business has changed a lot. I've read some interviews. You know, especially the record companies. I mean, what would you say your approach to recording an album is now versus, you know, back in the '80s when you had all the big label backing and all that? How's your approach changed doing, for instance, these 3 albums that you're doing right now?
Well, it's a completely different world.
Sure.
You know, one, you have your own studio, and it's packed full of the best gear there can be. You know,
yeah.
And you don't have to pay, you know, $2,000 an hour to be there. You know, so you can get a lot of work done, and you can make the records you want to make without time constraints and people breathing down your neck. You know, although, you know, in my experience with record companies, we always had the record company had a hands-off kind of scenario going with us. They didn't touch our music, and we didn't tell them how to sell records, you know. So it was a great working relationship, and they definitely knew how to sell records, and, you know, they knew how to make records. So it was a good partnership.
Well, Geoff, you were the vocalist for Queensryche for 30 years, man, and just some of those albums, Rage for Order, of course, Operation Mindcrime, Empire, just some classics. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and you departed the band in 2012. I mean, do you have any regrets looking back?
Oh, sure. I regret that it ended so badly, you know. I regret that we couldn't all get in one room and speak civilly to each other and come to some understanding, some conclusions before it blew apart. Yeah, definitely. On the other hand, I would say that, you know, for a band to last 30 plus years is an amazing achievement. And, you know, we probably went way past, you know, what our own expectations were of how long we would be together. You know, most bands stay together at the most 5 or 10 years, you know. We tripled that. So, you know, we had a great run. I think we created some wonderful music that'll live on past us, and you know, it'll keep on being there for the generations to experience.
Well, guys, GeoffTate.com, that is the website where you can get all the info, the tour dates, all the projects. And again, Geoff, we just can't thank you enough. I know you got some other interviews you got to run. Can't thank you enough for joining us, man. Best of luck with this album. Can't wait to hear about and see what the next one's going to be like here, the third part of the trilogy here, man. So thank you so much, and best wishes, man. Hope to catch up with you on the road here coming up here in the next year or so, man.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on your show, Clint.
You bet.
Talk to you again, I hope.
Thanks a lot, Geoff. Appreciate it.